Guys, it's Wednesday. It's preseason 2023. But first of all, we need to have remembrance for all those that didn't get gold.
Oh, you didn't have to do me dirty right out the gate like that.
I had
Damn.
to do.
Damn.
I'm so sorry. We tried.
There's no way to make the log off sound and just disappear my audio and video. Damn. Yeah, that was bullshit, dude. Fuck Riot.
It was hard.
Fuck Riot Games, dude.
I mean, everyone was scrambling on the last day to try to get in.
It didn't feel like my team was scrambling. I feel like my team was doing anything but scrambling.
You know, if you just would have used Scorch more this season.
Listen, Scorch is not what made the difference here. I can promise you that much.
I know.
It was a very, very sad day yesterday. Actually, I was very, very pissed off once I finished playing yesterday. This is so fucking dumb because it feels like every year I just get trolled off, especially like, I don't know. There's a lot of sweaty people playing, but like in an instance where there's so many people playing extra sweaty, how do I end up on the team that's with the opposite? I don't know what the opposite of extra sweaty is, but how do I end up with teammates that are the opposite of that? I'll never understand. Like Caitlyn not being able to dodge a blitz hook at any point in the game. Like, bro, it is not that. Like, I get it. It can be difficult. It is not that fucking hard to dodge. And I think that's probably what tilted me off on the map more than anything. Was like, dude, bro, this is not that fucking hard to do. Just, you're playing Caitlyn. You have the range advantage. Use it. And why are you not making sure you're just out of range or behind minions or whatever? And if you are going to be near the minions, just make sure you're behind it. Like, it's not hard. You have the range advantage, dude. Blitz didn't do anything special. You just ran up and fucking hooked her ass time after time after time. And like I said, that was probably the part that fucking tilted me the most.
At least the Victorious skin. Obviously, I know you want the Victorious skin. At least it's not a champion like you play.
Yeah, but I got cheated out of last year's. And I feel
What was
like
last year's Blitz?
Yeah, last year's was Blitz. I got cheated out of that one, and I feel like this year was like, I just got screwed out of that one. I'm like, dude, this is dumb. This game fucking blows.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, I hit Platinum 4 for the first time. I had to play extra sweaty yesterday, though, so I barely got in at the last minute. Awesome. Never been Platinum 4. Cool. Next season's going to be your season, though. I promise.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know that I have... I will say I felt like I wasted so much time playing this game this year, and that was probably what pissed me off more than anything. Is like I just felt like dude, just way too much fucking time and effort for no result. That's no visible result. Like it's just like this is dumb. So I was very annoyed in that regard. Like this just felt like a waste of time this year. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything nice to say about it, I guess.
Well, it's coming to an end. So last Friday we asked you guys, where did you finish rank-wise for 2022? Celestine wrote in and said, gold, like always, for my free stuff. And yep, gold is generally what I would go for. And then I don't know, it was just a little extra kick to keep going. And yeah, I guess I get an extra chroma because I'm platinum now, so that's pretty cool. But
yeah, look at you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, rank's over. It's preseason full mode. So I know we went over a handful of stuff on a previous episode. So there's gonna be some things in here that we probably can just be like, just you can go listen to that or just look it up on your own. We don't need to reiterate it. Yeah. So. Let me fix the screen here. So, yeah, we got the items. We got, don't really care about Space Group. Probably the jungle is the biggest change.
Yeah,
jungle.
For sure.
So, it's definitely going to make, from what we've seen, and there was a few things we needed to be clarified on. And from what we've seen, though, I feel like it's going to be a lot easier for people to jungle. And I think more champions are going to be able to jungle, which is going to be interesting. So
yeah, given all the changes, who knows? I might even jungle this year.
Oh, you can do it.
Even though it's a role I generally don't play because I find it incredibly frustrating. But I don't know, man. Playing support this year was incredibly frustrating. So there's always the opportunity to try something else that's maybe less frustrating.
All right, so let's get into it. First thing is the Chemtech return. We already went over that.
Yep.
So we don't really need to talk about it that much.
Yeah, we don't need to beat a dead horse.
Yeah, you get damage, the lower HP you're on. The map is great. It gives steroids to all the fucking plants. Did the one thing I wanted to ask about it? Do you remember? Because when it's the Chemtech Rift and you hit the Scryer's Orb, do we remember it saying it would put all wards to 1 HP?
I don't remember that. I think that's new.
So that's something that they added. Let's see. Yeah, right here, if you look where it says Chemtech Rift, Firelight Bloom. Scryer's Bloom will upgrade into Firelight's Bloom, which will reveal a small area around the plant when broken, in addition to the usual cone to the opposite direction it was broken from. I think I remember that. And then it says allies tagged will also gain movement speed towards the direction for a short duration, and enemy wards revealed will be taking to 1 health.
Interesting.
So that's pretty cool. Be able to clear vision like that.
I wonder if that's just to try to combat the lethality builds with graves and stuff that are just overusing Umbral Glaive. Like, that's a cool item. It's definitely super overused, so I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it. Like, hey, since everybody's using this now, we need to maybe try to find a way to let other AP junglers in. Like, I didn't see a whole lot of like Evelyns and stuff this year, and I feel like part of that is just because the Umbral Glaive was just so, like, why would you play an AP jungler when you could just play a AD jungler who builds Umbral Glaive? And
I think Graves is the only champion jungling that would use that.
Sure, but it's like, again, it just, that's such a strong
I agree.
option.
It needs to get nerfed, I think.
Yeah, maybe make it so it takes more than 2 hits to kill a pink ward or 1 hit to kill a regular ward. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not entirely sure, but just spitballing ideas out here, right?
Or maybe just make the it only kill one shot a ward if you're melee, not ranged.
There you go.
I don't know. Let it reveal. That's fine, but like Graves, you have the 3 auto attacks, so I don't know. It's also just so fucking cheap.
That's it too. Increase the price on it could also help make it better as well. So a couple different things that you could do.
The other thing for the upgraded honey fruits, do you remember it saying, obviously it doesn't slow, okay, it says honey fruits will upgrade into stem fruits and provide the usual heal plus a bonus shield in addition to no longer slowing champions. I don't remember the shield part.
I don't remember that either.
That's OP.
I really don't. That seems pretty fucking strong, I gotta say.
Just the fact that it doesn't slow you anymore either is really nice.
Yeah, so. I know that I fucking hated the slow. Even as someone just like roaming the jungle to go for a gank, I'm like, the slow is fucking ridiculous. Like, can we pass on the slow a little bit? Maybe, perhaps. I don't know.
All right, so let's go down to more of the jungle changes. Which
goodness, there's a lot in the camp changes and the camp mechanics.
Yeah, so this is where I wanted to start because we for sure did not read about this.
No, this is new. This is stuff that wasn't posted originally, but that's okay.
So this is what we're here for. Go ahead and just tell us about the mechanics of jungle camps.
Okay, so there's three pieces here. First, they're calling marked for death. It says when a large monster dies, all small monsters in their camp will be marked for death. After 10 consecutive seconds of not being in combat with a champion, monsters that have been marked for death will die.
This is interesting because this is completely getting rid of counter jungling. Because normally you go in, take their chickens, leave one little baby bitch there, and then that would fuck them because it wouldn't respawn.
Right. Although I feel like that's not as common as it used to be. Like, people do it with chickens still, but I feel like it's not as common as it used to be because I think there is a certain time where they just all respawn anyways.
Not for the chickens, or wolves. Krugs, yes, I think.
Yeah, okay. It's maybe just Krugs that I noticed, but again, I don't really play the jungle, so.
Well, they're changing Krug, so we'll get to that too.
Yes.
Right,
okay, the next piece says own side clearing strength. Junglers now deal 20% more damage from non-true damage sources to monsters on their own side of the jungle.
Bro.
This
Oh.
increased damage will not apply when invading and dealing damage to enemies' camps.
Okay, so they're completely taking away the incentive of like invading,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
not
there's no
completely, but like
They're just what they're doing too is allowing you to gank faster, right? Clear your shit
Right.
and get in the fucking lane is what that's what I'm picking up from this.
I like that.
But all right, fair enough.
20% extra damage. That's literally any champion can jungle.
Yes, I think I'm pretty sure that's what they're vying for. Anyways, they've always tried to vie for any champion can jungle, and I don't know, it can be exhausting sometimes.
Sure.
And lastly, they're calling parting gifts. All large monsters will now heal 27 plus 3 over level, increased by up to 2.25 based on missing health. Sorry, 2.25 times based on missing health. Jesus, and restores 15. Okay, some dumbass amount of mana. So they restore a dumbass amount of health and a dumbass amount of mana upon takedown if you have a jungle companion.
Okay,
This
so-
heal mana restoration will take the form of a projectile that will be fired towards a champion that last hit the monster after a 0.3 second delay. So that's just saying, like, hey, if you kill a large monster, you're gonna get a health and mana increase, or you're gonna get a restoration of health and mana.
So, maybe we'll answer. They'll answer this question once we get down to the companions. But are they? So obviously, I also know Smite no longer heals you. I think we went over that when you smite a camp. It is no
Right.
longer going to heal
Right.
you. You have to if you kill it. Okay, that's fine. I get that. I wonder if they're getting rid of the when you're in the jungle mana regen.
Good question. I'm not entirely sure.
That's a fair amount of XP though. All large monsters will now heal. Okay, I mean if you're gonna get low, it's gonna give you a fatty heal. It's so
Right.
much sustain.
It's a
Oh, but,
metric fuck ton of sustain.
All right. Okay. I also like the fact that it's wired to the jungle companion, so
Yes.
anybody can't just like heal off killing a creep or a jungle creep. So I
Right,
like that.
basically just means, hey, if you're the jungler, here you go.
Yep. Okay, so let's look at camp gold and experience changes. Now these are some numbers we actually want to get into because before we could blow it off like, oh, they can change it or whatever. So let's see. Lane minion experience. Junglers will only gain 75% experience from lane minions before their first pet evolution unless the jungler is behind the average level. Okay, so I think we had mentioned that you start the game with 40 treats, and then at 20 treats consumed, that's the second stage. So once you get to that, then you no longer get only 75%. Okay. Large monsters gold. All large monsters gold given to non-junglers has been reduced by 15 gold. Okay. Large monster experience for non-junglers. All large monsters experience given to non-junglers has been reduced by 15 experience, except for the ancient Krug, which has been reduced by 12 experience. I'm assuming that's the big Krug.
I think so.
And then large monster experience for junglers. All large monsters now give an additional 15 experience if you have a jungle companion. All right, so they're completely trying to just, if you're not a jungler, it's not going to be as worth to fucking go for this shit.
Right.
To like just take whatever. Huh.
Right.
Okay.
Very,
Well,
very interesting.
we got some, I don't know if you want to go over the camps themselves. Basically,
No, but there are just a couple little things I want to add. Like, I don't care about the health or the AD or the range
on
or
hit.
whatever. But
on
yeah,
hit.
so Blue Sentinel
for it.
has on hit damage. It deals 5% of its target's current health on hit. So Blue Sentinel, blue buff, is really fucking strong now in terms of how much damage it deals to you. I always felt that it was pretty strong anyways, but that's new. Gromp has on hit now deals 5% of its target's current health on hit, and it is no longer going to heal the champion that kills it upon dying. So I did like that about Gromp. I did take advantage if I played bot lane and Gromp was up and I needed some health. It's a pretty easy camp to kite around. Free health for killing it. Krugs. So the Ancient Krug deals 3% of its target's current health on hit. Ancient Krugs and Krug's death animation / smaller Krug respawn time is cut from 1.3 seconds to 1 second. I think that's pretty big.
I like that.
Because
I like
there's
that.
a lot, sometimes when you like kill them, like, okay, now I gotta fucking wait. Like, hurry the fuck up. So that's kind of cool. Ancient Krug no longer spawns 2 Krugs when killed. Instead spawns 4 mini
Yes,
Krugs.
love this.
That is super cool. And Ancient Krug is now counted as 2 CS. Note the Krug's camp as a whole will still be counted as a total of 4 CS.
Dude, the 2 intermittent Krugs was so boring to fucking
Yes.
take. No one would take it, and they get less gold.
Yes.
So now
they do give more. They did give more XP, but they gave less gold.
It's gonna be a breeze to kill
Right.
Krugs now.
Right. Merc Wolves, the Greater Merc Wolf deals 3% of its target's current health on hit. Same thing with the Raptors, the Crimson Raptor, which is the big one. Mama Raptor, Mama Chicken. Red Brambleback also does 5% of target's current health. So those are all pretty similar. Let's see. Rift Herald, it just doesn't charge quite as far, but it gives more XP to champions within 600 units. So by 100 more XP. So that's pretty huge, actually. And the Rift Scuttler, its spawn time is going to be delayed by 15 seconds, and it's going to have 500 more health at level 1, which is fucking huge.
That's
but
nuts.
it no longer has a shield. So no more shield
That's-
for Rift Scuttler. That's pretty big. That means
It is.
Blabber's just going to go for him. I think all in all, it's the same thing. It just, the shield gave it more resistances until you popped it, right?
Yeah, or CC'd it. or
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever you did to pop the shield, whether you smited it or CC'd it. But I think it had more resistances with the shield up, so instead they're just counteracting with more health, but no more having to smite or CC. Which actually I kind of like, because I hated having to burn a CC or a smite on the Scuttle Crab. So I can't hate too much in that regard.
Unless you were Graves, because that's fucking bullshit. All right.
Right.
Alrighty, so here we go. Let's get into the companions. So a little extra information here from what we talked about last month. So companions will deal 20 plus 4% bonus HP plus 15% AP plus 10% AD and will attack at a rate of 1 attack per second after their owner has stopped attacking. They will attack 2 more times and then stop. So if you're just, close to killing it, you got to move on to the next camp. Your homeboy is going to, you can time it, move on. You got to, what's the word I'm thinking of?
So you can leave early or kite it. So what a lot of junglers do in high elo that I've seen is like they'll take a camp down to like its last 20 health and let the jungle item just burn it. I think this is more or less the equivalent of doing that same thing.
Sure.
It's like, hey, I'm leaving and the jungle item's just going to burn it down. No one's coming to take it. No big deal. The way I'm reading this is that's basically just going to do the same thing. So if just to simplify it for some of you guys.
Companions will heal their owner for 70% of the above number every time they attack. Okay. So so I guess they are getting rid of if they're getting rid of the whole jungling items and replacing it, so because everything now does omnivamp to jungle creatures or whatever, so
Right.
So it's getting replaced with that. Damaging a camp from a distance will cause companions to leap toward the target, dealing the same amount of damage. Okay. Companion mana regen. Oh, here we go. Companions will provide their owners with an increased mana regen equal to 8% missing mana plus 8% missing mana. Okay.
I'm not.
I'm so confused. Here we go,
Looks
guys.
like 8
Strap in.
times. Looks like 8 times the percent of your missing mana plus 8 times the percent of your missing mana times your level divided by 1/3 times 0.1 while in the jungle, including your jungle and enemy jungle and the river. So
Okay,
what does
so
that
we
mean? There's a lot of X's and Y's in there, so without the X's and Y's, it's hard to
It's
figure that
so
out exactly.
poorly written.
Yes.
And like,
it's the syntax of writing an equation on a computer and not like actually writing a fucking equation. You know what I mean? Like write the fucking equation like a teacher's gonna write it on the fucking whiteboard so I can see it and understand what you're trying to say, because a lot of times they put these slashes, but those don't necessarily mean divided by. Although I think in this instance they have the asterisk to mean multiplication, I'm assuming, but this is starting to read like fucking Zeri's bullshit.
so I mean, just imagine like a new player just reading this. They have no idea what the fuck
No.
that means. It's the same. I'm assuming it's the same thing, maybe a little more, a little less. You're just gonna get mana regen, having the jungling companion and being in the river or anywhere in the jungle. So it's the same shit.
I think it's funny you said imagine a new player trying to understand this. I'm like, bro, we're seasoned players and we
That's
don't
what I'm
understand
saying.
it. Like
That's what I'm saying. It's
you need a mathematician to understand it, or you need to actually really understand math on a very, very high level. I think to understand what they're trying to do and the reason behind it, and I know you're not the biggest fan, but when it comes to these kinds of things, is usually when I look to someone like Freak, who is a whiz at math and at explaining this and understanding the efficiency and the differences and what they mean, however
Sure.
nuanced or minor they may be. So if you guys do get an opportunity, I would recommend, and he will have a breakdown for any of these like weird math equations. Freak is a really, really good resource if you want to understand exactly what these differences are. Now, obviously, Freak talks a little bit more esoterically than we do, and appeals more to a higher elo crowd. But I think for some of these little things, he can certainly help you understand those.
It's gonna be like they're so aside from all the healing so far we read, they're gonna be even the mana regen is insane. Like you're not gonna run out of mana at all. It's pretty insane.
It is pretty rather nuts.
Let's keep going. So companion progression. So jungle companions will evolve twice throughout the game by acquiring treats via the following methods: 1 treat per large monster or champion takedown. 1 bonus treat is stored every 60 seconds before reaching the companion's final evolution form. 1 bonus treat is stored every 90 seconds after reaching the companion's final evolution form. When a large monster is killed with bonus treats available, players will receive 2 treats and 50 bonus gold. 1 bonus treat stack will also be removed. This part was really fucking confusing to me. So you're just gonna keep getting treats after your homeboy is evolved, but it's just gonna give you bonus gold, right? Am I reading that right?
That's all I get out of it. I mean, it's really hard to tell what they're trying. I don't know. I don't understand the treat thing necessarily in general. I think it's a little
I thought
weird
because like
I thought the whole point was to evolve it and then you're done. But maybe they decided to change how that works, I guess.
I mean, maybe it's just going to incentivize you to keep farming. You're going to get bonus.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever.
Right. That's all I could think of. Like, I don't fucking know.
All right, let's just keep going. I'll just go through this whole because we're like halfway
it's the whole thing.
this whole bitch. So all jungle companions evolve. The first evolution, I think we went through this. Smite. Your smite starts at 600. First evolution, it goes to 900, and then the final evolution will be 1200.
That's huge.
So yeah, it's pretty big just considering the base smite was 450.
Right.
And now it's 600, so that's pretty cool. And then, so you got to get all 40 treats. But the biggest part here, you'll be able to cast Smite. Smite is only one. I think we thought it's just one. There's no red Smite or blue Smite. It's just one thing where or it's combined actually. It does true damage. It's like blue Smite, I guess. Does blue Smite do true damage?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it does 20.
I'll look it up while you do that.
Right, 80 to 160 based on level true damage and slowing the target for 20% for 2 seconds. So, kind of the same thing as Blue Smite now, and a little bit of Red Smite.
Chilling Smite. Okay, Chilling Smite deals 900 true damage to the target medium/large monster. Using Smite against a... Nope. Okay, Chilling Smite can be cast on enemy champions, dealing 20 to 156 based on level true damage and slowing the target by 20%. So it does do true damage, just not a whole lot of it.
Okay. So it's pretty much the same.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the only smite people are gonna be able to use on enemies. And then the final evolution, which this one I'm hyped for, smite damage will be increased to 1200 against monsters and will now do 50% of its damage as AoE against nearby monsters. Baby, purple smite is back. Fucking love that shit. Except it was really broken because you could just go to a lane and do it on the fucking caddy minion, and the whole fucking minion wave died.
Yeah.
That was fun. Okay, so we know there's 3 different we just briefly talked, we just learned their names it was last week. Moss Stomper, Scorch Claw, and Gust Walker. Was it Moss Stomper the one we were confused on?
That's the green
one
that gives you the shield. After 10 seconds out of combat, shield will remain indefinitely. Players gain 20% tenacity and slow resist while the shield is present, and for 3 seconds after it has been broken. So does that mean it just comes back?
Yeah, it regens.
Yeah, okay.
10 seconds. Or when you kill a creep. That's
protection
pretty good.
Buff, take 30%, reduce damage from monsters while at least 2 allies are within 1,300 units. So
I remember that one.
I think they all have that, actually.
Right. It's just, hey, motherfuckers, come do the fucking Baron so I can tank.
Come do the Baron, or I'm gonna come gank for you guys. And then we're gonna go take whatever, while you have the reduction towards them. So
So flat shield 75 to 330. Okay.
Scorch Claw has a okay. I'm sorry,
That's
I'm
not
getting
bad.
ahead of myself.
You're fine. I mean, how do you feel about 75 to 330 as a shield?
That's not bad. That's basically mountain buff, right?
Mountain
Like,
Soul, yeah.
Mountain Soul?
Oh, imagine it stacking on top
Yeah,
of that too.
yeah.
I'm looking at the tenacity and slow resist.
Like 75 is pretty weak. That's just like a overheal shield.
Sure.
But 330 is actually a sizable shield. I think that's about a locket shield. Don't hold me to that. I mean, obviously it's dependent on the champion's health and level and whatnot, but I think it's pretty similar to like a locket shield.
I like it. So if you're a tank,
Yeah.
I feel like maybe there's gonna be some crazy meta where people aren't playing tanks but taking this just to get a fucking free. I don't know. It might be a little scary, but
You're gonna see
let's
the
look at
releases with this item.
yes. Oh man.
Scorch Claw. This is interesting. This is one that I think we didn't have any information on, right?
No, I think I remember this.
Scorch Claw will accumulate Ember stacks at a rate of 3 stacks per half second, or 100 stacks upon killing a large monster. At 100 Ember stacks, your next instance of damage against an enemy champion will slow all enemies at a 250 unit radius by 350. That's 5 Teemos, guys. 5 Teemos. By 30%, decaying over 2 seconds, and deal burn damage equal to 5% of the target's max health in true damage over 4 seconds to the primary target. So if you ever have to ask why you're doing true damage, it's probably because you have Scorch Claw.
Not bad. And then finally, Gust Walker. Gain 45% bonus move speed when entering a brush that decays over 2 seconds after leaving the brush. This is increased to 60% for 2 seconds after killing a large monster. I still think this one's going to be fucking nuts, dude. You're going to be zooming all over the fucking map.
Red buff the Scuttle Crab, dude.
Imagine, just bring back Mobies on junglers. You're going to...
Oh, God.
That's a lot of movement speed.
Moby's Taric jungler.
Just imagine if it's Ocean Soul too. There's
I
gonna be
know.
brushes everywhere. You're gonna be cruising, man.
Or fucking Cloud with the Cloud Rift, and you're just running
Sure,
through the jungle, just sprinting like a madman, like you have a zillion E on you.
It's
A lot of Hecarim with that, huh?
Yeah. See,
Has to be.
man. I don't know what
I don't, I don't see why you would. Well, I mean, I think you could take other things, but like I feel like Gus Walker and Hecarim is just free damage and move speed. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm. You still thinking Scorch Claw is your favorite?
I like Scorch Claw a lot. I mean, I tend to lean towards damage dealing things like that. I find those more interesting. But I think what you can do with the other two are very valid. I think Moss Stomper might be the most underwhelming, but obviously it's for tanks. I mean, that's going to be really... I think either Moss Stomper or
nice, dude.
Gust Walker would be really good for like a Rammus. I think the tenacity is really fucking nice for those running E champions. So that's why I like yeah, there's Gust Walker that gives you move speed, which is cool for like a Rammus, but I like Moss Stomper because he is just a run E champion, right?
Right.
And you just like when I'm trying to think, or even like an Udyr, I think Moss Stomper is probably better than Gust Walker because he is a run E champion, and you're gonna obviously try to stun him, but movement speed. It's a really weird thing because the movement speed's really good, but like having tenacity to just not be fucking stopped is also really fucking good. So I think this does open the window for a lot of crazy things. I find that Scorch Claw is probably only going to be good for your carry junglers. Like I can see Kindred with a Scorch Claw as opposed to a Gust Walker because she needs to do some damage early. And getting a nice little pop of true damage would be really nice for her. Who else is a popular jungler? Like, I don't
Graves.
think... I was gonna say, I don't think Moss Stomper or Gust Walker would do very well with, like, a Karthus jungle. Like, I feel like that champion's going Scorch Claw regardless. Now, I could be wrong, but... Because Karthus does like to just run into battle, but I don't ever see him taking Moss Stomper. I would see him taking Gust Walker or Scorch Claw. Probably leaning towards Scorch. Think of an Evelynn, on the other hand... that would probably be between Scorch Claw and Gust Walker. I would not ever expect to see a Moss Stomper on Evelynn, but these other two, because the movement speed is pretty gross for her. She's invisible, don't get me wrong, but like to just be able to run up to someone, drop the charm, and then be able to just kind of run back around through a bush and pop them. The extra damage is cool, but she already does a massive fuck ton of damage. Like, you don't really need that. You need the maneuverability, I think. So
I do like
just a couple examples.
maybe we're overlooking the 30% decaying movement speed slow. So like anybody
Oh
can
yeah, that's true.
it's gonna run
That's
and you're
true.
gonna slow. That's why I was saying like Graves is still gonna be fucking gross. Just E
Graves
up,
could use
auto
any
attack.
one of these though. I feel like Graves could make use of all of these pretty well.
Yeah, and also it's a burn damage. It's not a burst damage. It's
No,
4
it's a burn.
seconds.
It's a burn of true damage though.
So it's not really a burn. It's okay. So
It's one of those. It's gonna be like one of those. Like if you have an assassin who's maybe underleveled and can't quite blow somebody up right away, you might be able to blow them up with the mini ignite that you're getting. Right.
Question for today's episode: which one do you think is the, or I guess poll?
What's your favorite? Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Yep.
Boom.
That's pretty straightforward. Kaboom. Okay. Let's move down to leashing, range updates, and indicators. So I think we talked a little bit about this before. They did talk about the updates to leashing and to the patience bar. So there's a couple things on here. There is the patience ranges, and I'm not going to go through all those because whatever. You just need to know the ranges are getting significantly shortened.
And they're all visually going to be shown to you.
Yes. So you don't really need to go over the numbers. The numbers are kind of moot because you'll be able to see them. What I am going to look at is the new parts that they're adding here. So the soft resets. After losing all patience, instead of fully resetting, the monster will soft reset for 6 seconds. While soft resetting, the monster will path towards its camp center, regenerate 6% of its max health per second, and it will ignore attackers outside of its leash range. Attacking a monster while the attacker is within leash range will end the soft reset and restore some patience. After these 6 seconds have passed without the monster being attacked, the monster will hard reset and ignore all attackers, rapidly heal, and return to its original position. So it's going to be harder for you to fuck it up.
Right. This is what I'm saying. It's going to be a lot easier for people to jungle now.
What's going to happen that's going to be tough is like Zach right now grabs 2 camps and kind of double jungles them together. It's going to be a lot more difficult to do that. I don't know that it's going to be a possibility that he can do that with Gromp and blue buff like he likes to do, because you're going to be so much further out of range. For example, blue buff is losing 350 range and Gromp is losing 250 range before the patience runs out. So that's pretty fucking huge, especially for a champion that doesn't do a whole lot of damage. He does AoE damage, but he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And so if you can't have them on the edges of their patience meter and hit both of them at the same time, you're going to be stuck to doing one or the other. So that's going to slow Zach down for sure, considerably. The next part is the soft versus hard reset speed. Monsters will move more slowly while soft resetting and faster once they hard reset. So that's just something to notice. You'll be able to tell quite easily if you're not seeing the health bar when they hard reset that they're fucking sprinting back to their area. Patience is key. It says monsters will not lose patience for 1.5 seconds after being attacked by a champion within the leash radius. Okay, that's pretty good. I noticed that sometimes if you get it outside of the leash radius, it just starts losing patience anyways, which I always thought was weird, because how can you lose patience when you're being hit and you're attacking, but whatever. And then patience regeneration. Camps will now begin to regenerate lost patience after 2 seconds of being back within their leash range.
It's very straightforward. This was like,
Keep it in the circle.
This was so well written and very straightforward. And then you got motherfuckers up here. Where the fuck was I reading about like the treats and then the mana regen? Like, come on, bruh.
Yeah.
Come on, Riot.
It's Rito. I don't know what you expect. I guess we should know what to expect by now, huh?
Expect nonsense.
Expect the unexpected.
And then they are putting in recommended pathing, which I don't think is that important. I mean, I use Blitz. A lot of the time I don't like use what they recommend.
The recommendations
but,
can be pretty fucking garbage in the game and in Blitz.
Like for me, like to know, I'm assuming it's going to change, but like the fastest level 3 is whatever buff you start at. If you go red and then blue Gromp, you're level 3. That's all you really need to know. It's going to change a little bit. But this is for beginner junglers or that need a little extra help. So that'll be cool. And I also know it gets updated every patch. So it's like oh, this champion with the highest win rate, its highest win rate is with this jungle recommendation path, whatever. So
Right.
that'll be cool. So moving down, we definitely went over the ping, the communication. I did learn that it is literally when you have your wheel up and you right click, it will go to the vision one. So it's all in one wheel now.
Okay.
So that's fine. I like that. What are the new pings? Push, all in, hold, and bait. Okay.
Okay.
I kind of like that. Let's
Bait it.
see. And then we also have need vision for the vision one. Need vision. Oh my god, I just lost my train of thought. Okay. Returning pings. Retreat on my way. Okay, that's for that one. And then the new pings. Oh, vision wheel. There we go. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Vision cleared, enemy vision, need vision. Extra features. The need vision ping will leave a small persistent indicator for a minute or until a ward is placed nearby. You may only have one of these indicators active at any given time. Pinging again will replace your previous one. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Small person indicator. So it's an extra timer just on. They're giving you so much, like,
More timers.
more timers. I'm fine. It's fine with that.
Fuck it.
Okay, other pings returning is fine. Objective planning. So this is the voting system. Now all players can vote and indicate whether or not they like to take or contest the objective. The jungler's vote will be counted as 2 votes, and a total of 4 votes for or against will be considered aligned. Oh man, this is I know we mentioned this on the previous episode where we talked about it. Did we talk about the fact that, like, if you don't know who's voting, can really fuck you up? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, what if my top laner is voting to do dragon, but my bot laner isn't?
Right. Right. Like, yeah, we're all on the same page, and then you're not all on the same page.
It's gonna be very hard, especially in low elo. People aren't gonna want to fucking cooperate. It's very rare. I feel
No,
like
they never want to cooperate, dude. You can't get people to cooperate on the sweatiest day of the year. How the hell do you expect them to cooperate?
November 14th is the sweatiest day of the year.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
I know.
So
Yeah, I don't see this working.
yeah,
I
Rito.
don't see this working.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Vision system updates. Let's see. While there are currently ways to see how many wards you have out on the map, there isn't a quick way to check which wards are closest to expiring. We're introducing a new ward visual on the minimap that will indicate when wards are close to expiring. Allied wars minicap icons will now change appearance when they reach a third of their remaining duration. I hope that doesn't clutter up the minimap.
It shouldn't. As someone who puts out a lot of wards, it shouldn't. I have noticed, and I don't know if anybody even knows this, but if you have wards and you have more than 3 out, and you don't have ward stone, obviously, and you want to, like, place more, it's very easy if you're not standing by your ward. So it'll tell you, like, if you want to place a 4th one, it'll tell you which one is going to go away on your mini map. You'll just see a little X over it. But if you're standing by your wards and you hover over your wards, it'll tell you which one is 1, 2, and 3. Like, if you're next to them, it'll tell you which ward that is. So you'll know, like, hey, it's not this one that's going to expire. It's that one over there or something like that. So you'll have a better idea in that regard. So I don't think this is going to clutter up the map too much. But I can certainly understand the fear of that happening. And I can certainly respect that because sometimes they add too much shit. And you're like, guys, can we take some shit away here so the rest of us can fucking see what the fuck is going on in the game?
And then finally, they're going to give us much easier ways to track enemy wards. So I like that too. Ability recommendations, don't really care about that. We went over the top lane changes with the XP and the gold. I do remember that.
Yep.
And then items. I can't remember which ones we didn't go through. I know a few of them changed names.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Maybe we should just go through these really quick.
We'll go through them real quickly.
Yeah. You can say this first one.
Yeah, you got Jackshow the Protean. Protein. Fuck them.
Protein? I'm going to get some protein.
Protein. Fuck it. Jackshow. Or Jackshow. I don't know if it's Jackshow or Jackshow. Whatever. Become an unkillable monstrosity over the course of the fight. That's the one that you just you just scale up with the Voidborn Resilience. For each second in champion combat, gain a stack, granting 2 armor and MR up to 8 stacks max. So that's 16 armor and 16 MR extra. At max stacks, become empowered, instantly draining enemies around you for 3% of your max health. Reduce to 30% against minions and monsters, and increasing your resists by 10% until end of combat. So this gives me big, for any of you that play TFT, this gives me big Titan's Resolve vibes. The more you attack, the more damage you get, and at a certain breakpoint, you have max damage in AD and AP, and then you get extra resistances as well. So a very similar style item. A 3,000 gold item, so rather expensive. Gives you forwarded health, and then your armor and magic resist are going to be similar to that of the Frozen Gauntlet, which is going away. So this is going to fit into that slot. Similar build path, the same build path, the Aegis, Kindle Gem, and Ruby Crystal.
And then the Orin item.
The Unspoken Parasite. Interesting name. You're just getting an extra 5 ability haste and 10 armor magic resist and an extra 150 health.
Okay. Radiant Virtue. 3,000. So these are all 3,000. Okay, that one's okay.
They're all mythic, so yeah.
Right. 3k gold, 400 health, 30 armor, 30 magic resist, 20 ability haste. Same build path. This was the tank support item, I think, or like a not necessarily for support, but like a supportive. Yeah. Upon casting your ultimate,
utility.
You transcend, increasing your max health by 10% for 9 seconds. While transcended, you and allies within 1,200 range of you gain 15 non-ultimate ability haste and heal for 1% of your max health every 3 seconds, increased by up to 100% based on the champion's missing health. So you just gotta heal. You just pop your ulti, and your whole fucking team just heals a little bit.
Very interesting.
And then grants all legendaries 100 health.
Okay.
Primordial Dawn, same thing as the previous item, is 150 health. 10, is it 10? Yeah, 10 bonus resistances. And then, same thing. Okay, cool.
All right. And then Heartsteel.
That was my favorite one.
Heartsteel. Grow into a Goliath that towers over foes and pummels the opposition. Okay. I hear that little line, and I just think Cassante. The gold cost is 3,200, so more expensive, far more expensive, almost the cost of a Triforce. 800 health, 200% health regen. Jesus. Ability haste 20, builds out of Kindle Gem, a Crystalline Bracer, and a Giant's Belt. The passive is called Colossal Consumption. Charge up a powerful attack against a champion over 3 seconds while within 700 range of them. The charge attack deals 125 plus 6% of your max health as physical damage and grants you 10% of that amount as permanent max health. 30-second cooldown per target. This strikes me like a Grasp of the Undying. So I feel like if you're going to take this, you take Grasp also.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're just going to be stacking so much fucking... This is like... I'm so scared to see Cho'Gath with this item, because
why did you have to say that?
Chogi, dude.
And then the Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 1% bonus health and 6% champion size.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. Cho'Gath item then.
I forgot to mention on Jack Show, you gain 5 armor and MR per legendary item. That's the Mythic passive. And then Heartsteel's upgraded form is called Leviathan. Ornn gives you an extra 100% health regen, an extra 250 health, and an extra 5 ability haste. So it's pretty fucking disgusting. But let's get to the real item here. I just saw the name of the Ornn item. Read it.
Yeah,
just get the whole
Fist,
thing.
Baby.
Oh, baby. Frozen Fist, the non-canonical name given to Iceborne Gauntlet. So, Iceborne Gauntlet, formerly Frostfire Gauntlet. Control the battlefield and cripple the opposition. So the gold cost is going up from 2,800 to 3,000. You're losing 50 health. You're gaining 25 armor. And you're losing 25 MR. You get no MR from this item.
And you're also losing the Sunfire.
Right. So the ability stays the same. The build path is Bommies, Cinder, Null Magic, Cloth Armor. They
No,
need
that's
to
what it-
fix that. Oh, that's what it was. I'm
permanent.
sorry. Yeah, it's going to be Sheen, Kindle Gem, and Chain Vest. That makes more sense. Obviously, the passive is the Spellblade. For any of you who are familiar with Iceborne Gauntlet, you are getting the item back pretty much in its entirety. I don't remember what the armor rating was, or the health. I don't think it had a health rating in the past, so
No.
you're getting the item back with a health rating. I don't think I need to read you everything of what's going on with the Spellblade. Basically, you use an ability, and then the Sheen proc leaves a frost field, which slows and damages opponents in that area. The Mythic passive grants all other legendary items 50 health, 5% tenacity, and 5% slow resist.
One more thing to add on that. The
yes.
target that's being slowed, their damage is reduced by 10% against you for 2.5 seconds.
I did bypass over that thinking that was the same. So, okay, my apologies there.
That's pretty OP.
And that's on a 1.5 second cooldown. So,
right, Sheen.
exactly. And then Frozen Fist is going to grant you an extra 150 health, an extra 20 armor, and an extra 5 ability haste.
I love that it's called Frozen Fist. That's so sick.
Me too, dude. I just saw that and I was like, oh, this is... Thank you. It's literally what everyone's been calling it for years. Like, it needed to have the name changed to Frozen Fist because everyone's been calling it Frozen Fist. So, thank you, Riot, for doing us a solid there.
And speaking of another item that's coming back, Rod of Ages. Love it.
Yes.
3,200 gold, 60 AP, 300 health, 400 mana. Catalyst. The build is Catalyst, Blasting Wand, and Amp Tone. And if you guys remember the old Rod, every minute at up to a 10 times, so 10 minutes, 20 health, 20 mana, and 4 ability power. So to a max of 200 health, 200 mana, 40 AP, which is a lot. That's what it used to be. The new one, new aspect is upon reaching max stacks, gain a level, and all effects of Eternity are increased by 50%.
Okay.
Eternity. Restore mana equal to 8% of pre-mitigation damage taken from champions, and health equal to 20% of mana spent. Up to 15 health per cast.
Okay.
Toggle abilities can only heal up to 15 per second. For every 250 health or mana restored this way, gain 25% decaying movement speed. That is fucking insane. This item is so fucking stacked, dude.
Wow, that's pretty fucking nuts, dude.
The level alone is pretty insane.
Yeah. It's how do you say knucking futs?
Give me, dude. I'm like, oh man, I want to play Orin and build this so I can get to level 14 faster.
the upgraded name too, Infinite Convergence.
I love it.
I love it.
So 80 AP, 450 health, and 550 mana.
Yep. Okay, Catalyst is returning. We talked about that already. The fucking icon is great. Abyssal Mask, I think we may have touched on a little bit. Did we touch on the Eternity passive?
It's the same thing as Rod of Ages.
Right. So I just want to make sure we drop that. The same as Catalyst. It builds out of Catalyst like it used to. Thank you. That was when Abyssal Mask was, I think, at its best. This past season was basically fucking useless unless you played a Mumu. So there's that. I'll skip a little bit there. Randuin's Omen. I think we may have talked about this as well.
So I'm looking at this really quick. I can't remember if we had an issue with this or it was confusing because I guess they had removed the let's see. Okay, so I guess I didn't know this, and maybe this is what we talked about, but the active was what reduced the crit damage.
Oh, I thought it was.
So,
it used to be passive.
Right, and I think they mentioned that.
Okay.
They're bringing it back. We're returning the reduction to its passive. Okay, yes, because right now it says when you use the active, unleash a shockwave around you that slows nearby enemies by 99% for a quarter of a second and reduces their attack damage by 10% and critical strike damage by 20% for 4 seconds. So now the slow is going to be 55% for 2 seconds. So that's a massive downgrade, but it's longer. And then the critical strikes are just flat out going to do 20% less damage.
Okay.
And then, of course, the same rock solid, reducing incoming damage from attacks by up to 5 plus 0.35%, capped at 40% of attack damage. I've been like Steven's been playing a lot of top lane. I can't
Right.
remember he was playing Ornn. I can't remember what he was laying against, and I was like, Steven, just buy a fucking Warden's Mail because he was going against an 80
Yes.
attacker. I'm just like, you're not gonna die. That item is
He loved that suggestion, by the way. Every game I played with him after that, he's like, "Oh yeah, Demon Summon, just get awards." But
Dude.
I never realized how OP it was. Like
It is.
Yeah,
I'll like-
that ad's
I'll
fucking
like-
busted, dude.
I like look up on him and check his item after like 5 minutes after he bought it and says reduce like 1,000 damage. I'm like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good against 80s.
Right, right.
Alrighty, give me a Sunfire.
Sunfire, Aegis, however you want to say it. No longer a Mythid. No longer a Mythid. Still a good option, your go-to for wave clear and sustained damage as a tank. Shenny Boy. This is the item that you need. It just brings back the old Shen builds where you fucking really needed that. So, it's going to drop 400 in gold cost because it's not a mythic. You lose 50 health. You gain 15 armor, so to 400 health and 50 armor, you gain 0 MR, so back to its old stats, and you lose your ability Haste. It builds out of Bami's Cinder, or it used to build out of Bami's in Aegis or Aegis of the Legion. Now it's Bami's and Chain Vest. The Flame Touch has been removed, but the Immolate is still there. However, it is no longer increased by 150% against monsters.
So let me reiterate because I had to look up what Flame Touch was. So Immolate is taking or dealing damage, activates his passive for 3 seconds. You deal X amount of damage, increase to minions and monsters.
Sure.
This execute minions that will be killed, blah, blah, blah. Damaging enemy champions or epic monsters with this, so that's Baron or Dragon or Champion, grants a stack for 5 seconds that increases the subsequent Immolate damage by 10%, stacking up to 6 times. So that is remaining.
Yep.
Okay. But Flame Touch at max stacks, your basic attacks create an explosion around you, applying a burn to all enemies within a certain range, plus 100% bonus size units that deal your current Immolate damage. So that little extra, obviously it's not a mythic anymore. They had to nerf it there. But it's still pretty good. I'm
Right.
glad it's also just an armor item now. So you could probably pair this pretty well with Abyssal Mask.
Yep.
So I like
I'm
it.
a big fan of that item, so we know this. So yeah, I
Right.
think I like the idea. So yeah, let's make it work, guys.
Then Turbo Chem Tank is no longer a mythic as well.
No, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. So it is just going to be a magic resist item, looks like. So it is dropping 400 gold, 2,800, gaining 50 health, 500. Magic resist is getting bumped to 50, no armor, and then ability haste is dropping by 10. And then it doesn't have the refuel passive anymore. So I'm assuming, is it just an active? Or okay, never mind. I'm drunk. It doesn't have the because it doesn't have a Immolate anymore. Because remember, it would detonate a small AOE thing at 100 stacks.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Okay, there we go. Boom.
All right. Aegis of the Legion dropping in gold by 200. It's just for the gold adjustment. Ravenous Hydra. Great
this
for
one was
AD
controversial.
melee champs looking to carry the teams with damage. Okay. So attack damage dropping by 5. Unique passive is still cleave. So 60 to 12%. 60 to 12. I think I was supposed to say 6 to 12% total AD based on distance. It's going to 60% of total AD for melee champions and 30% of total AD for ranged champions to all enemies around them. Unique passive Carnivorous, gain 0.6 AD and 0.1% Omnivamp on minion kills, increased to twice that amount for champions. Large/epic monsters and siege minions, stacks up to 24 AD and 4% Omnivamp, lose half these stacks on death. That's actually not terrible, because either you buy it early and you carry, or you die and it becomes like a Sword of the Occult.
Well, I remember when we talked about this, and you seemed concerned. You thought that was broken, that you just kill minions to get free AD.
I think it is broken that you kill minions to get free shit.
I mean, you're going to lose half stacks on death? Sure. Well, I'm going to go kill a couple minions, a minion wave, and I'll be back.
Right.
So
Right.
I kind of like it. I'm glad. So they're completely getting rid of, because right now, before the patch, or we're recording this on Tuesday, because it gives Omnivamp on live, right? So
Yeah, I think so.
they're getting rid of that, and now I think it was like 10% Omnivamp. Now it's dropping to 4. Okay, so that's a hit.
No, for
Well,
sure.
I can deal with that. 24 AD is a lot though.
Yeah.
I feel like a couple long
Show
shows.
is.
And
Okay,
then
Tiamat don't really need to talk about. It's just updating the damage, so whatever. Tell me
Oh.
about speed. Oh, good.
Wait a minute. The cleave, it makes sense. The 60 to 12, because it's if you're hitting enemies that are further away.
That does make sense. Okay. You're right,
that makes.
you're right.
I was like, oh, okay. Based
Yeah.
on distance.
So basically, enemies that are close to the center of that cleave take more damage than enemies further away from it. That makes sense.
Perfect. Okay. Spear of Sojin is returning. 3,400 gold. Damn, this is a very expensive legendary item. 3,400 gold.
broken as fuck,
65
that's
AD. 300 health. 20 ability haste. And hang in there, because I might fucking lose a brain cell reading this. Non-ultimate spells gain an extra 8 plus 8% bonus AD ability haste for melee champions. And then for range, it is 6 plus 6% bonus AD. Reduced to 4 plus 4% bonus AD ability haste for melee. And then 3 plus 3% bonus AD ability haste for range for spells with immobilizing effects. So, the thing that comes to mind is like, because it'd be really broken to give some champions all have fucking CC. Obviously, I don't think you're gonna build this on Leona or something, but like, like one that comes to mind is Renekton.
Okay.
So that his W is only gonna have 4% ability haste rather than the full 8, because he has a stun on that.
Okay.
So
okay.
any
Yeah, that makes
ability,
sense.
like think of a Jax with a helicopter dick, that's if it has any CC in the description, or if immobilizing effects as it reads, I can't fucking read. it's not going to be as beneficial, but it's still good. It's going to give half the, imagine if you like, it's a lot better than the previous one, because the previous iteration is when you popped R for like 15 seconds, or it's the duration of your ult, or like 10 seconds after your ult, right? It your basic attacks reduce like all your non-ultimate abilities by like 5 seconds each. It was fucking insane.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
And then the other unique passive is gain up to 2, and it's 15% for melee, 10% for range movement speed based on your missing health. Max out while below 33% HP. That's pretty interesting. So you're gonna be a quick boy.
Yeah, you
Okay.
are.
Okay.
Fast boy. And the build path, BF, Kindle Gem, and Caulfields. Okay. Navori Quick Blades. Here's an item that nobody builds unless your name's Tryndamere. Yeah, even in the blurb. Navori's was a bit too niche of an item in its previous form, resulting in it often being skipped over. We're adjusting it so it competes with Infinity Edge as a build-defining item, trading DPS for stronger spells and lower cooldowns. Note this item cannot be built with Ginsu's or IE.
Okay.
Interesting to know. So ability haste was 30. It's going to go down to 20. The unique passive Transcendence. If you have at least 60% crit strike chance, your attacks reduce your non-ultimate ability cooldowns by 15% of their remaining cooldown. Not total, remaining cooldown. Which means that it becomes less and less useful the closer your skills are to being cooled down, I guess. And then unique passive Impermanence. Your abilities deal up to 20% increased damage based on critical strike chance. So now I definitely see Lucian building this.
Yeah, this is 100% a Lucian item. This is very
Lucian,
strong.
You might even see it on like a Jhin, maybe. But I still think IE is probably better. But there's a world where you could do that. Any spellcasting ADC, you actually might see this on like a Corki. If you go back to the
Possibly.
the
AD
cringe bow build, the cringe bow build, yeah. Because you are building crit and you do get extra crit, so you could see this coming out on a Corki spellcaster type. And there's another. I'm missing somebody, and I can't think of who it is. You could see this on like a Samira.
Okay.
Not totally, like it's not 100%, but you could see this on a Samira because she wants to continue dashing and blocking with her
the only
shield,
reason I
and
would
she
disagree,
Qs a lot.
I would disagree with that is just because she gets resets already.
Right, but I don't know. I mean, you get the 20% increased damage based on crit strike chance. There's a
I
world.
feel like
There's a world.
I feel like Infinity Edge is way better.
Oh,
Still
you know who's
pop
gonna
damage.
build this? I just thought about it.
Hmm.
Fucking Katarina.
Oh my, stop.
She builds every other fucking 80 item. Why not this one? That's it for items, guys. Items are fun, but that's all we got for items. We got a couple small buffs. There are 3 buffs and 1 adjustment. So you want to start off with the Chogli?
Yeah, I know they were talking about they're just trying to compete with the smite changes. So
Right,
Cho'Gath
right.
Feast is getting a buff. It was 1,000, just 2 non-champions. 1,000 plus 50% AP plus 10% bonus HP. It is now going to do 1,200, 50% AP, excuse me, and 10% bonus HP. So, and again, that is true damage to monsters.
Nice. Lilia is next on the list here. She's changed from ranged to melee. I didn't know that she was ranged, but
Yeah.
changed from ranged to melee. This makes a difference depending on some items that you build. Not that I expect you to build Ravenous Hydra, but I mean, I guess should you do that, there is something to be taken away from in the fact that she'll get full benefits of the passives and whatnot as a melee. Let's see here. It also says her base health is decreased and her health growth is increased. Passive healing versus champions is increased. So, base stats, range to melee, base health from 625 to 605, health growth from 104 to 105. The passive Dream Laden Bow, healing versus champions is 10.5 to 124.5 based on level, plus 18% AP. That was linear scaling. That was what it was. It's now going to be 6 to 120 based on level, plus 18% AP. Now uses stat growth multiplier. Good to know.
Next up, we have Nunu. Same thing. True damage to non-champions on his Q was 340 to 980. Now it is 400 to 1200. Again, to match that final level of Smite.
Yes.
And then the biggest buff. I'll call this a buff. It's an adjustment, but it's a buff.
Fair.
Rakan is melee.
Yes.
I
think that does make a little bit of a difference. I guess I always assumed he was melee, but I don't know. Interesting.
Smite, we already went over that. Turret plates, gold given per plate is getting increased by 15 gold. And then the armor and MR per turret plates is getting increased by 5. So it's going to be that much tankier.
Love to see it. Also, you hate to see it.
There is a shitload of ARAM changes. Don't care. We're updating some champions based to make their numbers more clean. Okay, don't really care. Behavioral system. I don't know if you want to look at this. Penalty ladders will be upgraded accordingly to match the new severity tiers we can detect. With these improvements, we are expecting an increase disruptive chat detections of over 20%. And we'll no longer be able to send messages to other players in games. DMs will still be able to. Okay, I don't.
Okay.
Don't
All
care.
right. Yeah, not really a
competitive.
big deal. AFK surrender time. We talked about that last time. Champ select anonymity. I think this is only relevant to high elo, I believe. Let's see. No, maybe not. It says, as we discussed in this article, and it's linked, we think the best version of League is not one where you metagame based on players in your lobby. We also want to avoid using someone else's win or loss streak, playing / playing a different champion to force a dodge or pressure others to dodge when your setup doesn't meet the perfect conditions. All right. So
I don't
allies
agree
or
with
friends
that.
in a ranked solo duo, champion select all summoner names that aren't yours or your duo partners will be replaced by ally 1 through 5.
I don't like that at all.
I like laughing at people's fucking ridiculous names. So
Well, I also want to dodge when my mid laner picks Katarina and I look at their match history and they have
lost
a
the last
0
6 games on
0%, 0% win rate. I'm like, sick. So now you're gonna allow people to be fucking trolls. Good job.
yeah, I don't know what the angle is there. So Riot, if you could please let me know the angle. That would be fucking great.
So some more remake updates, yada yada yada. This is a long episode. I'm trying to get through it. Eternals. No one fucking gives a shit. It was a waste
No
of
one gives a
time.
fuck about
Waste of
Eternals,
money.
dude. The Eternals are
Mythicon-
actually the worst thing.
Mythic content, yada yada yada. I'm looking at bug fixes. If there's anything cool here,
I don't
there's
think
a
so.
lot. I don't think so. I'm definitely not trying to finish this episode really quick.
I will tell you upcoming skins: Space Groove Twisted Fate, though. Victoria Sejuani. Space Groove Tarek. Why do they have to keep releasing Teemo skins? It's
a legendary too.
I know champions that like I hate seeing in game are Teemo, and it has nothing to do with what Teemo does. It has everything to do with what Teemo players do. They troll and suck 90% of the time. Not all of you. Some of you Teemo players actually know what you're doing. 90% of the time you don't, and 90% of the time when you're on my team, you really don't know what the fuck you're doing. So like banning that champion sometimes is just because I see people thinking he's some counter to something and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're like, oh, I've never played against this top laner. I better pick Teemo. It's like, please don't do that. Please don't fucking do that. You're gonna get banned out. It's like I ban Yasuo when I see that Yasuo starts getting really popular because my Yasuo always sucks donkey balls and I just don't want to deal with it. So Yasuo gets banned when he gets popular. Sorry, not sorry. Other than that, yeah, I don't have anything else to add. Congratulations on platinum. Fuck
you.
me for not getting what I deserve. Fuck you, Riot.
We'll get it next year.
Yeah, see, that's the problems. Now I have 3 months before I can try again, or 2 months before I try again, and I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. It started off really, really well this year. I climbed really, really fast to Silver 1, and then I hit a brick fucking wall. And tumbled all the way back down. It was in a point where it didn't matter what champion I played. My team trolled the fuck out of me, and so I just stopped playing solo duo because it was not fun anymore. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen next season. Inevitably, I'm sure it will, and I'll move on to playing something else maybe for a little bit of time. Other than that, guys, if you liked the episode, please leave a like or a rating. That would be great. That sincerely helps us out. We know when you guys do that, we know what content you like more than others, so we can provide more of that to you. So yeah, please do that, and then obviously share us with a friend. You got new friends joining League. I know some of you newer players and lower elo players looking for more tips and whatnot. Bring your friends in. We all learn together.
Yep, definitely. I think last thing I wanted to mention, this is the only episode for the week. We got Tyler some stuff going on, so no problem. We'll be back next week. We'll be able to report on some games. Also, Zeri changes are starting to come through, so those are going to be interesting to see what's going on with that. So can't wait.
Nice. That champion that no one can figure out. Nice.
Guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and yeah, we'll talk to you next week.
Be safe, guys.